so do I. And I don't wanna play much, no. And you were so perfect for me. It was too good to be true. And it's like the same before. So tell me, girl, what you tryna do? Before I go full on pursuit, yeah. And we feeling each other, girl. So girl, if we're being real, yeah. You won't change yourself, not even for me. And it hurts so bad, girl. But if we're being real, yeah. And I won't change myself, not even for you. Yeah. I could get love all the time, but loving from you should be mine. Cause I'm not playing second string, and his love don't cost a thing, yeah. Cause you said this might not work out, so baby, let's just think about it. Right before you make a choice, girl, you need to hear my voice, baby. Girl, you're amazing. We can't keep waiting, but I'm trained for patience. Let me show you. Girl, if you want me, you gotta have me. Cause I really wanna do this. If we're being real, yeah. You won't change yourself, not even for me. And it hurts so bad, yeah. But if we're being real, yeah. And I won't change myself, not even for you. Yeah. Whoa. We may not understand. Girl, I know love when I feel it. I just really can't believe it. And I don't know what it is, but girl, this feels so right and so wrong. But girl, we need to ask ourselves, if we're being real, yeah. You won't change yourself, not even for me. And it hurts so bad, yeah. But if we're being real, yeah. And I won't change myself, not even for you. Yeah. So what we gonna do?
Baby, I don't stop her. Finna smell like ganja. No, I got prescriptions. I'm from a real doctor. Take it to my bathroom, turn it to my classroom. Put it in your...
Turn me up. This is
Coming to you from the heart of the Pacific, brought to you by Paulie by Design.
respected at all times.
Broadcasting from San Francisco, California, the city by the bay.
It's about to go down.
We shine on positive Pacific Islander role models every Sunday.
Party on a Sunday.
From 10 a.m. to noon, it's time for the iconic Faika Podcast with your hosts,
listening to
Naki and Carl.
What's up, Naki?
What's up?
Season 5, episode 8.
Yeah.
Still rolling. Got the
Yes.
pre-show going.
Oh my God, I look so good.
We got cool music, PI music early on. for
Mo
our
music.
our-
Mo music.
early viewers.
Right.
Let's see. Today we're going to do the check-ins. We're going to talk about Will Fun Nene. And
Yes.
all the heat that
the
he's
shit
getting.
he's going through.
Will, we got your back. We're going to talk about that. We'll talk about Ted Cruz.
Right.
We're going to
Stupid
talk
ass
about.
Ted Cruz, right?
Is that the title of that segment?
That's the title of that
Title of that segment, Naki has just decided, is Stupid Ass Ted Cruz.
Exactly.
We're going to talk about the repatriation
Right.
of our Samoan
Samoan
families out there.
family and the
putting-
ladies that we interviewed one time before that were trying to get back home. So it's awesome.
We're going to talk about them. We're going to talk about some upcoming community events, free.
Free.
And they can help you. Parenting
We love
classes.
free.
Stop smoking classes.
Yes.
And yeah, that's our show today. So Naki, what's good?
Good morning. Okay, so we're actually live we're actually live on Facebook. Maury threw me off because she's talking about your stink sweatshirt.
Whoa.
good
Super Bowl champion Steelers.
We have tons of people that are tuned in on Facebook Live. So, of course, our Maury is checking in from Washington. Maretza Tubuna, thank you for tuning in. Evie Foley, who's checking in from Chula
morning,
Vista.
Auntie.
Good morning, Mom. Kala Eko Ahipa. Alona is watching. Good morning. Tammy Rodandi is checking in from Oregon.
Tungiai family. in the house.
Yes. Ane Tofili Matangi. Thank you. Eva Sao. Hi, Eva. And then Maury, of course, is talking about your sweatshirt. Lots of crazy stuff happened this week in the media. There are like tons and tons of stuff that you just named, but Valentine's Day was last Sunday when we were here. People celebrated love or didn't. It was really up to you.
Some celebrated death.
Some celebrated the death of Captain Cook. So it just depends how you look at things, and how you see things is how you celebrated last Sunday. So me and my family had dinner, and of course Mo got flowers and candy, and then my sister Kay sent me flowers, which was so sweet. And I got a box of candy. It was at my front door. I don't know who it's from. And then, well, it didn't have a card, and it didn't have anything. It just came in a box. It looked really expensive.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was assorted chocolates and different flavors. And so we couldn't figure it out. And then finally this week, I finally figured it out because it came to me. It was Jason. My candy was from Jason Momoa, so he sent me Valentine's candy. So I was so happy.
Aquaman sent you Valentine candy?
Aquaman sent me candy. So thank you, Jason. I will call you later.
That's an amazing piece of super sleuth detective work you did there.
All my detective work. And women, when they want to really find out information, they are the best detectives ever.
How did you sort that out?
Well,
that it's not LL Cool J, it's not The Rock.
No, because I already got those gifts. Oh, we'll talk The Rock. Speaking of The Rock,
We could talk about that.
he had a show this week.
Young Rock.
So Dwayne Johnson had his, I guess it was on Channel 7 prime time.
Prime time, ABC.
Prime time, ABC at 8 p.m. It's amazing that we get to see a Pacific Islander, and
We see Pacific Islanders playing Pacific Islanders.
Islanders. So
There's a novel idea.
it was awesome. It was great. It was amazing to see this happen this week. Good morning, Melody Masaniai. Good morning. Moses Moley is on. Good morning, Dad.
Morning, Mo.
So the show was, I think, Tuesday or Wednesday at 8 p.m. And it's a story, it's like in the future. Rock is running he's a presidential candidate for 2032, and he's getting interviewed by someone, and they're talking about him growing up. So it's a series. It's going to be a series. So I think the series is going to be about his interview and him talking about when he was a kid, junior high, college, and the producers or the executive directors is him and his ex-wife, Danny Garcia, which is awesome.
I think that for a lot of different reasons, that's awesome. Right?
So many reasons. So many reasons.
They're divorced.
Right.
They each have moved on.
Yes.
And they're still working together. They're still best friends, from all the reports in the media.
Adults.
They're working together. They're doing shows together. The kids get to see that, hey, divorce doesn't have to be
ugly.
I hate you and mom versus dad,
Totally
those kind
not.
of things. So I love seeing those when those credits come up and you see that they're working together and doing projects together. So that's just a lot of things that I liked about the show.
A lot of things I liked about the show. I love that it was whoever did the casting for the wrestlers did a great job. They did an amazing job. Like Andre the Giant, they did Afa and Sika, which really you just get two big Samoan guys with afros. But that was really good.
I found it was funny because you could just get two Samoan guys and just make sure they have a lot of hair so you can't see their face too well. They're Afa and Sika.
Yeah, it was awesome. So they did, I thought they did a great job with casting. I love that everybody was to their character. Like, Afansica were Samoan men, so it was Samoan or PIs playing PIs. It wasn't a white guy with a tan. You know what I mean? So I love that.
I like the kayfabe shout out where they were like, Rocky Johnson said, no, we can't hang out with the Iron Sheik, because he's a bad guy and I'm a good guy. We can't be seen in public together. We'll see them later. Yeah, and then they see them at the apartment.
Yeah, his mother-in-law's house.
But it was funny to hear we can't be hanging out with Iron Sheik in public.
Right,
that would we'd be breaking character.
Right. So it was a really good show. I mean, it was good to see PIs during prime time, 8 a.m., where everyone, that's the highlight. What is it? PM, 8 p.m. It wasn't on at 8 a.m. where nobody's up. But 8 p.m., it was prime time. I mean, he did a great job of casting, and they're everywhere. They're like the show came out on Tuesday, and the next day, Coconut TV had an interview with, most of the cast. So it was a really good show. I love that they casted all PIs. I love that if you're a little kid, this is your example. If you're a little Pacific Islander kid, this is your example, right? We were talking about last week, the Legends Ball, where Oprah had invited a whole bunch of African-American women and men who she's seen growing up and that motivated her and inspired her. And now The Rock is starting that for little PI kids. That's awesome.
It is awesome, and it's awesome to see on primetime a show produced, written, directed, all those kind of things, and then casting Pacific Islanders. That's important for what we've always said is kids are going to look. Now a kid growing up is going to look, a Pacific Islander is going to look on like, well, that's just normal, right? I mean, I'm supposed to see shows with Pacific Islanders producing and running the show. One of the things that I liked, and I remember listening to The Breakfast Club about this concept that Black figures should go on to Black media. You know what I mean? So if they're going to break something or they're going to give exclusive interviews, it should go to Black media first. And to see Coconut TV have the interview, it was nice to see the Pacific Islander public figures giving a shout out to Pacific Islander media and going on their media. So shout out to Lisa Tauma and her team over there with Coconut TV. And we'll give you The Rock this time. Next time we may take that one for ourselves. But how come you can't get your boyfriend on our show, Naki?
Yeah, I know. I'm trying. Trust me, I'm trying. We've had this long discussion of why, and we're trying to keep our relationship.
Did you chew him out
a deep secret? We're trying to keep our relationship a deep secret.
You've done a good job so far.
Thank you. So Melody's like, Rock's uncle, Mom, how's your girlfriend, Uncle? She stabbed me. That is funny. Good morning, Tammy. Again, Tammy says on Facebook, representation is important. Love seeing people that look like our people, and the soundtrack, hearing someone's songs play on a major network was amazing. It absolutely 100% true. It just, I got all emotional listening to someone's songs on, I don't know, where on prime time. On prime time. Where
in the mainstream.
If you aren't PI, you're like, what is that? You know what I mean? So that's just like when we watch your TV, we're like, what is that? Welcome to our world. So I just want to give a shout out to Maggie Kwovu Toka Ilangi. Thank you for tuning in. Jacinta S. Ngaleai. Good morning. Thank you for tuning in. So I loved The Rock. I thought I would be critical because I seen the previews and I really didn't watch it that day. I was like, give me a couple of days because the commercials looked really cheesy. And so in my head, I was like, oh God, don't let this be stupid.
Yeah, I didn't see it till Thursday. On Thursday, I was clicking around on Netflix trying to figure out like, what do I want to watch? And then I was like, wait a minute, The Rock show was earlier this week, and I went and found it, and I'm glad I did.
Yeah, I recorded it, and then I went back. I said, I got to watch it before the show on Sunday so that I can have, conversation about it. And so I watched it, and it started off really good. I mean, it started off a little cheesy, but it was really good. You know what I'm saying? And it's supposed to be like not crazy out of the box,
right?
because
it's not a drama series or anything.
It's like a comedy kind of. So it's prime time. Like I can't get over that. Like we've got a prime time slot.
That is we.
Yeah, we're like we have a prime time slot, and so it's freaking amazing. Manu Lutu, good morning. T Olive, thank you for tuning in, everyone. We're talking about the Young Rock, the show, and how amazing it was to see someone looking like us on primetime TV.
I like that there is some honesty with his relationship with his dad.
Yes.
So
he was real about that. You mentioned that. Yeah.
And he was real about it in not an extremely negative way.
Right.
It was just, wrestlers are on the road.
Right.
They're on the road 45 plus weeks a year.
Right.
So they're not there for some things.
And I remember, like my cousins are married to professional wrestlers, and that's their life story, is the men or women are on the road, 45 weeks of the year. And so it's a hard relationship, and you do miss out on your kids' everything. But I think that, if that's your passion and you're providing for your family, which right now it's big time money, right? Wrestling. So as compared to back then, like back then there was no money, but they did it because they loved it. And still people do it because they love it too. So I thought it was a great show. It comes on Tuesdays at 8 p.m.
On the West Coast.
On the West Coast. So if you live in the U.S., check your local listings or go on, your cable channel and pre-record it or record it before the next episode. So it was a good show, and,
looking forward
to two thumbs up. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to, seeing more Pacific Islanders and
more
see how
shows,
the show plays out. But again, it's just more of a fun show.
Right.
So to have the real angle about the relationship they had,
right.
with Rocky,
yes,
was not something I was expecting in a really just fun show. But they do it in a good way. It's not really heavy.
Yeah, it wasn't heavy. It was kind of subtle, right? It was kind of subtle. So, good job. I thought it was a great show, and I was happy to.
I was happy before the show even started because the credits are rolling up and you're seeing all these Polynesian names. And it was like, I don't know who those people are, but I like seeing that there's Polynesians or Samoans in the show.
I kind of got choked up just in the beginning credits, just watching the names roll by. And I was like, wow, that's crazy amazing. I think in the U.S. we're like, oh my God, there's a PI show. It's The Rock, And then in New Zealand, that's their everyday life, right? Like they're used to seeing us on TV. And I think because PIs are the majority in New Zealand, so of course. But here we've come a long way for us to be on national TV, right? So it was a really good show. So I loved it. I thought it was really good. So
best actor of the show so far, in my opinion, is the young man who plays The Rock at the University of Miami.
Oh, yeah.
That kid's doing a great job. And it looks like to me like he's studied The Rock's mannerisms, because there's things that he does, just little, not necessarily the eye,
right?
But he does things, his mannerisms are a lot like The Rock. So hopefully they can find work. This could end up catapulting some people into careers.
We're going to see, I'm sure we're going to see them more often. And wouldn't it be amazing for those PIs that are on the show to now be, able to try out for other shows, which I'm sure they're doing now, or be offered roles. And so it was great.
Melody Masaniai points out, and Frankie Adams on The Expanse, producers specifically cast a Samoan woman on purpose. So they went out to find a Samoan woman. Thank you, Melody, for pointing that out.
That's
I didn't
awesome.
know that.
Yeah. Yes. That's I don't know. I think now, because we're so on everybody now, like if like King Kamehameha, like they want somebody that is PI to play that movie. They don't want somebody of another nationality playing that movie. I think now with the movies, we want it to be so real that people want it to actually, tell us telling our own story, really.
I think those are we talk about that in terms of, what was that? Oh, I did an interview with a young lady, and she was talking about, telling our story. And I said, before there was Robert Louis Stevenson, there was Margaret Mead. Like, we weren't telling our story.
We weren't telling our story.
So, the Palangis or the Europeans told our story. That was good. But we can do better now. We can tell our own story. So to see, the Hawaiians saying, we want a Hawaiian to play King Kamehameha.
Right.
And to say, well, at least The Rock's Polynesian. At this point, it's like we can do better. You know what I mean? So I do believe, not bad, like The Rock is a bad actor or he doesn't play it well, but we don't need to have other people tell our stories, and we can get into the different islands and say,
my gosh, yes,
we can do better than just settling for a quote Polynesian to play a quote Polynesian role. If it's Hawaiian, then seek out Hawaiians. If
Hawaiian actor,
King Malietoa, then seek out Samoans. But, I feel like, we can do better if it's The Rock that ends up playing King Kamehameha the Great, then, we're still moving forward. But at this point, pushing the envelope to say like a Hawaiian needs to play that or a Tahitian needs to play that. We can do that.
Yeah, so it was awesome to see that show. It's on every week, and it's a great show for the whole family.
Yeah, very light. It's very light.
So check your local listings and support. It's judge for yourself. It's really just as soon as the show starts, you can't help but be so proud. And I think because we're PIs, even though I don't know him, technically he's my boo thing, but even though I don't really know him in reality, we're proud. We see someone and we see somebody that looks like us. So we're so proud. So that whole show, I was like beaming. I was like, oh my God. So yes. So that was a good show. I loved it. What else happened? Valentine's.
My son was walking through the room when I was watching it, and he goes, oh, is this the Rock show? I go, yeah. And he goes, maybe I got to watch that. And I was like, your Polynesian's mandatory. Like, all Polynesians have to watch the show.
Right. Yeah, you have to watch it. And even if you do or do not like The Rock, you just can't help but want to watch it and be proud. So there you go. So it was Valentine's Day. It was my first day back last week. I think I talked like a million minutes, and so I apologize for that. But yeah, what else happened this week?
Let's see. We had we can talk about Will Fanene Mato Samoa. We could talk about the repatriation of the people we spoke to. So happy to see them get home.
Yeah. So we had a couple of months ago, we had like Bridget Moala, Kweni, just a bunch of people that were stuck here. They lived in American Samoa or Samoa, independent Samoa. And they came out before the pandemic. They either came to the United States for medical reasons, to escort a loved one who needed, I don't know, they came out here for a funeral or a wedding or whatever the reason they came out during the pandemic. When the pandemic happened, Samoa shut their borders. And so they were literally stuck out here for a year.
And when we say stuck out here, we mean Las Vegas, San Francisco, Southern California, Hawaii, Utah, all over. So it was any Samoan that was not at home that lived in American Samoa. If you weren't in American Samoa when they shut down the airports, you were locked out.
Yes.
And you weren't coming back until the governor lifted the travel ban.
Right.
And that was, from what I was able to tell in our interview with them at the time, it seemed like they were being led to believe it's almost there, it's almost there, it's almost there. And at that point, this is months ago.
Right.
Maybe even half a year ago, where they were like, it keeps being like right around the corner and we don't hear anything.
Yeah.
That is so frustrating to hear the story of the person that came over just to support somebody else in treatment. Like they were just there as loving support for a loved one to go through treatment. I think it was in Hawaii.
Right.
And they didn't get to go back home for like 9 months.
Right. Right. And so just like, for an example, Bridget Moala, who came to America, I think San Diego, because her dad has heart problems and all kinds of medical issues. So she escorted her dad to the U.S., hoping to just be here maybe a month or so until he got medical assistance or whatever. And then she got stuck here. Like, the governor at the time, because it's a new governor, the governor at the time shut the borders, which I understand too, because before the pandemic, Samoa went through the measles epidemic. And so tons of people died during the measles epidemic, kids. So they shut the border down. I think they just were scared that something like that was they could not have handled.
That's the thing, is that, and they talked about that.
Yes.
In the interview. They talked about how we understand the capacity. LBJ is not going to be able to support many patients at all.
Right.
So they do have to be extra careful. So the people themselves that were isolated, that were stuck, they understood. Like, they got it that, hey, we understand we can't have an outbreak on the island because we don't have the infrastructure to support it. They were understanding of that, but man, they went through a lot to get home. They went
through hell to get home. And I think only because the government at that time told them, okay, we have a plane next month. And then like 2 days before that due date, they said, 2 more months. And it just kept, and so you get their hopes up that they're going to be going home, and then it gets crushed. And so like Bridget has a small son and her husband and back home. And so she didn't see her baby for a year. That would kill me.
Right.
But I think had the government just said, I'm sorry, we're keeping the borders closed until 2021, then maybe they would have came up with a plan, you know what I mean? Because every month they were preparing to go home. If you tell me I can't go home until 2021, oh, damn. I got to go find a job. Let me do a side hustle, because a lot of them just were waiting, and then they felt like burdens to their family that they were staying with. Some of them, went and got an Airbnb, like that's expensive. And so they finally got to go home. And we watched their journey on Facebook Live, and they were on the news in Hawaii. It was such a blessing to see everyone go home. And so I'm happy for everyone that got to go home.
Bridget's sister.
I know Bridget. Yeah.
Yeah, Manulutu. Just checked in on Facebook, says Bridget is my sister. She's so happy to be home. Uncle C.E. is relieved to be back home. Thank God. So.
Yeah. I know Bridget's family because the dad is related to Uncle Masoli, the brothers. So we know their family. And so it is amazing to see Uncle C.E. all happy, healthy. And his best friend is Bridget's little son. So they were back together again. So it was awesome. I'm so happy for everyone that got to go home. I think they're waiting because there's like 600 to 700 people stranded out here. And the first 125 went home. And they had to quarantine in Hawaii for 10 days. Then they landed in Samoa and had to quarantine for another 10 to 14 days at Tradewinds. And can you imagine being so close to your family, but yet so far? And so for 14 days, I think I would have been so antsy and crazy that they're just there. And and then after 14 days, they got retested they took the test again, and every single one of them tested negative, and then they finally got to go home. So congratulations to the whole 125 families that got to reunite. And
450 to go.
Yeah, 450 to go. And it's a slow process, but it's going to happen. It's going to happen. So awesome. What else we got, Mena?
Let's talk about Will. Let's talk about Mato Samoa, or do you want to go?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
So I'm in the Mato Samoa classes. I think we're week 5 at this point. Mm-hmm. I've missed some classes, but the cool thing is the classes that I've missed, they're recorded and they're put in the Mato Samoa classes link. So if you're in the class and you miss the class, you have access to that class recorded on Zoom. So I've actually been able to go back
That's
and review
awesome.
some of the classes. Like, like when I'm in a class and they say something like, and we learned this in week 2. And I'm like, I apparently did not learn that in week 2.
Yeah.
I can go back to the video from week 2 and just grab the part that I missed. So that's one of the things I really love about the class is they build on each week. But if you miss something in a week, you can go back to the video and figure it out and get the instructions.
Right.
So I like the way that he is teaching it because he's teaching it from the way that I learned English.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one of the things in the Samoan language that I'm struggling with is things like, I don't know, the greenhouse, right?
Right.
That's the house green
Right.
in Samoan. So if you're going to just translate from English to Samoan, you're going to end up with things that don't make sense.
Yeah, you're going to end up messed up.
So he's teaching that from like sentence structure of where the verb goes and those kind of things, how I learned English. So I really appreciate that. And he's really understanding about, look, this is just the way that he learned it, the way that he's teaching it, the way that the Gangana Samoa book was written. So he's using some of that. And like, it's not like the people that wrote those books don't know what they're talking about. And he is getting worn out on social media. There are people coming after him for, why are you teaching it? You're not a native speaker. Just all kinds of stuff. I don't see a ton of it. You've told me a lot about it because I'm not really that active on Instagram. But what have you seen online in terms of them criticizing him?
So one of his videos went viral. And if you go follow Will Fanenen on Instagram, every day he gives us a small lesson of people that are wanting to learn how to speak Samoan. And so he went into the word meuli. And I know it's a big, crazy, and I totally agree with him. He says the word meuli literally means black thing.
Right. It's a hybrid word. Mea and uli.
So it literally means black thing. So if you think about it, and when we say, I don't know, palangi, it's not derogatory. When we say tangata, is it sainga? I'm not really sure. But it's people of, this, people of that. And when you talk, and to him, it's offensive to him. It's offensive to me now too, that when you say the word for black person is meoli, black thing, where he's saying it is tangata uli. And so some people got offensive saying, who do you think you are? That is a word. I mean, some guy went off and was like, you have to, no, he didn't go off. I think he was trying to support Will in a different way. He was saying, look, way back in the day in Samoa, there were no black people. And so we referred to dark skin. And that's a whole other show, colorism within the PI culture. He was saying people that were darker than everybody else, darker Samoans, they called them meuli, black thing. And it was like teasing, but kind of not teasing. So I didn't quite understand that because, again, I don't really 100% know the history, but he was saying it was offensive to him. And so that video literally went viral, and he has to keep responding. And what he's doing is responding to the, what do you call those people that trolls, the trolls that are making really rude comments. And there's really one person that is like on him, which I don't even know the person's name, but they just are on him about that word. And I don't understand. Also, one of the things is that they were saying, who do you think you are teaching this language? And you've got some of this wrong, or it's not, you know what I mean? And they were attacking him, basically saying, who is this person who you're not Samoan, you're black. And he's like, I'm Afghasi, and you don't know my history. And if you think you can do a better job at teaching our people who want to learn Samoan, then do it.
Right.
By all means, do it. And, so, I mean, I think he's doing a great job. I mean, if you are criticizing him, then do it yourself. Like, if you don't like the way he's doing it, then you teach.
Change the channel.
Yes.
If you don't like him, don't follow him, swipe left, whatever it's called. You don't got to watch him.
Yes.
And if it pisses you off, stop watching.
Right. So I understand. I've gotten people to, if I hear the word Meoli, I go, that's the proper way now to say Black people is Tangata Uli or Tama Uli or Tene Uli. And so that's what, I think that video went viral, and that's what he was trying to explain, and people just started attacking him. And so I think if you don't go back and watch his other videos and understand why he's explaining that, then you get lost in all of the hype, you know what I mean? All the trolls that come out, it's crazy. But he does a great job of explaining things. He, like you said, he teaches the way that you need to be taught.
To learn English.
Yes, to learn English. And so, of course, I learned by my mom yelling at me. You know what I mean? Like, she keeps yelling.
Auntie?
Oh, yeah.
Nah.
She keeps yelling, furulipu, go wash the dishes. If you hear that like a million times and get bopped in the head, then you start to understand, oh, go wash the dishes. So I got taught old school way. So, yeah. So
it was funny. He was talking about, he goes, so for those of you that have been around elders, like if you hear, an elder say, yeah, like, they're saying you, and there's some action expected from that. They're not just, and he was funny because he goes, they're not just making a sound. That means something. Yeah. And you could tell the people who grew up in Samoan houses, because on the Zoom, people were like, oh, yeah, I've heard that, and they're expecting action. Like, whatever comes after is something you better do right then. Right. Like, if you walk in front of elders, and like my kids used to do this, they would walk in front of us or walk in front of people and just, don't say anything. And then I go, oh. When they see me do that, they're like, oh, shit, what did I do? I know that look.
Oh, shit, what did I do? And so, that's how you learn, Then they're like, what did I do? What didn't I do? So, that's it in a nutshell. So I was thinking, Will's doing a great job, and he's helping a lot of people learn the Samoan language the way they need to be taught. Any way you can learn and you're learning, that's the way you're going to learn.
And if you don't like the way he teaches, it's okay. Don't learn from him.
Yes. And then Elisa Petty, good morning. On Facebook says, Mato Samoa, Will Fanedes, kudos for his efforts. All our Samoan people needs to step up and understand teaching a language is not easy. So true. Instead of complaining, develop Aonga Samoa. Thanks for sharing this. I don't have Twitter, but I will develop now. Go Mato Samoa. Let's support education efforts for our community. I love that. Yes.
Because if he reaches, so let's say he reaches a segment of the population, the Samoan population, that isn't going to learn it any other way. They can't learn it. It's the way that they were taught English in the U.S. It's got to be that way for them to be, for it to make sense. If he reaches a segment of that population and that many more people are speaking Samoan because of his efforts, God bless him. Like, how is that being...
Exactly.
If you want to go learn from, like what, quote, proper or, the, quote, right way, then you're going to end up being... you're only going to be able to learn that way.
Yeah. He does a great job, and he's teaching not just Samoans. He's teaching non-PIs.
There's a lot of well, not a lot, but there are spouses in there that they're married to a Samoan
and want to understand.
They want to be able to communicate.
They want to understand if people are talking shit about them.
That's what they really want to learn.
That's what they're really in there for.
They're really in there to say, what does this mean? I hear this a lot. What does that mean?
I hear that a lot. What does that mean? So yeah, I totally get that. Like, so it's a great class. Check it out when they start up again. Go follow his page. Amazing. It was also our Yvette Monomer's birthday this week.
Yes, it was.
Big shout out to her. Oh, she's part of our PBD crew. And so for Lent, she is off of Facebook.
Deleted her account.
So she's not responding on Facebook. And so, happy birthday, Yvette. What? Oh gosh, get your daddy.
No, he's making a good point. He's making a good point. What he said, Moses Moley, the most patient man in the world, is saying is that's the problem with our people. We hate on each other instead of helping each other. Will's a positive role model, and he's doing a wonderful job. So that is one of those things where we talk about, if you do it well enough and you get enough people's attention, you're going to have haters.
They were talking about that this week on SCDC's Fasoa Manatu.
Mm-hmm.
They had Phil Alapati and Fale Malepe Ayan, and they were talking about crabs in a pot,
Right.
And so I think that it's true. There are haters, but I think you just have to let them go or don't pay attention. I think that's the thing that we are going to do. Are we going to break, Minna? Okay. Don't talk to her? No. So Fasoa Manatu is on every Wednesday at 11 a.m. on SCDC.
Huge show this week.
It was a huge show this week. Well, Fale Malepe'ai was on, and he has like 30 siblings, and then they're married, and their kids have kids. So, and then Phil knows everybody in the Bay Area, and so it was a really good discussion. So if you missed it, go to the SCDC page and check out their show from this week. It was really, really good.
Good topics.
Yes,
and it was topics that if they've been spoken about, some of them we've spoken about and Neo's spoken about, but they're continual issues like the crabs in a pot thing.
Right.
Like if you're going to be successful as an entrepreneur, you got to be able to deal with that, because once you start elevating yourself, you're going to get things like Will's getting, like Phil has had. Like, you know what I mean? Once you, and we always talk about that. Like, if we don't have haters, we're not reaching enough people. Right.
And I'm really bad at the trolls. So if you come for us, like I usually sit Carl on you, because Carl is very calm and he kind of hits you and you don't know it. And so where I'm like, I posted this thing on Instagram. I'm always on Instagram. I'm never on Facebook, my personal page. But I posted this thing of you're savage or something like that when you text out or wrote out this whole paragraph and then you delete it and just respond, okay. That's me. I'm like, I rewrite and write paragraph after paragraph, and then I delete it, rewrite it, and then I finally give in and go, Carl, can you get this person? And then with one sentence, Carl kills them. So I let Carl attack people. Elisa Betta is saying it comes in the territory of us trying. We are trying too in Hawaii. Le Fetuao Samoa Language Center. I'm the executive director and founder. Oh, yay. We are now a service provider for Hawaii, DOE.
Department of Education.
Department of Education. Look at me. Wilfon and it, please, we need to partner up. Oh yeah, go follow him. Go harass him on Instagram and TikTok. He's huge on TikTok.
So Elisa Petta, you can expect an email from Naki, because Naki's already clicking through her head. Let's do an interview.
Yeah. So girl, I'm gonna get a hold of you. So yeah. I think we're back on Tuesday. We have FICA Tuesday. I've started to book again. Now that I'm back, I'm booking guests back on Tuesday. We have EPV Films, who is out of Palo Alto. They have just exploded with their business. And so they finally have a little time. So we don't want to take up too much of their time. But they'll be on Tuesday at 5 p.m. And we're excited.
EPV out of EPA.
Yes. And they do a great job. They've been doing, what are they? A media group?
They stream, they'll stream events for you.
They stream events. They do a lot more than that. But lately they've been really busy with streaming, weddings and funerals and every party you can think of. And their work is crazy amazing. So that'll be Tuesday. And then, we got tons of stuff to talk about, like the elderly Asians that are getting attacked in the Bay Area, and just the statistics are rising. So I think we're going to go to a song and then we will come back. Are we going to talk about Essence of Mana?
When we come back.
When we come back. So you're listening to the FICA Podcast. We will be right back. Patsy Tito, Taya Manuia.
Yo, what's up, y'all? It's your boy Q.
Joseph.
From Island Block Radio. Y'all are tuned in to the Faika Podcast.
Every Sunday at 10 to 12 noon.
Stop it. Come on.
Y'all ready for this? Yeah, I've been up and down, trying to find my way. Failing relationships seem to be my thing. Now I'm giving up, I don't wanna try. Cause every woman be playing with my mind. Tell me, mommy, why are you so mysterious? What's so different, beautiful, so innocent? Straight up, you be my flavor, baby. Be real, pretty woman, just don't face me. Sweet love, won't you give me a chance tonight? Falling in love, I'm with you, girl, I just can't deny. Sweet love, won't you give me a chance tonight? Falling in love, oh yeah, falling in love. Oh, you see now one and one is two, just like me and you. 3, watch me carefully. See me eyes now, yes. Ooh, I hope you feeling me. Tell me that I'm right. Cause I don't wanna be a lonely man tonight. Your personality, so damn sophisticated. But I can match you, girl, just let me demonstrate it. See, I like a woman who is strong, so independent. Someone who knows just what you want, and she educated. Well, take a second, take a minute, take your time. Cause I've been waiting all my life to make you mine. Sweet love, won't you give me a chance tonight? Falling in love, I'm with you, girl, I just can't deny. Sweet love, won't you give me a chance tonight? Falling in love, oh yeah, falling in love. We see now one and one is two, just like me and you. 3, watch me carefully. Ain't nobody else do it like me. I've been trying to write it up, can you harmonize my song? What's so much dramas in my life, I can't go on. So, can you take my soul? Can you take my heart? Cause me don't wanna go fussing or fighting, me I wanna fresh start. Oh, girl, look into my life, can you see yourself inside me? Or is this just another sweet love fantasy? Sweet love, won't you give me a chance tonight? Falling in love, I'm with you, girl, I just can't deny. Sweet love, won't you give me a chance tonight? Falling in love, with you, girl, I just can't deny. Sweet love, won't you give me a chance tonight? Falling in love, with you, girl, I just can't deny. Sweet love, won't you give me a chance tonight? Falling in love, oh yeah, falling in love. So now one and one is two, just like me and you. 3, watch me carefully. Oh yeah, we are seeing now one and one is two, just like me and you. 3, watch me carefully. See me eyes now.
And we're back. You're listening to the Faika Podcast. I am Naki. In the studio with me is Carl.
Good morning. Good morning.
That was Loams Brown, Sweet Lover. I know who he, but I always have been saying Lomas Brown, so I guess I've been getting it wrong this whole time. So there you go. It's a good song. We don't own the rights to it, but we played it anyway. How about that? So what else are we talking about this week? Malia said my 12-year-old, she's in school, and I really would like to have like people come on and talk about it. I think that was one of our things. But Malia told me that her teacher, she's learning at home, and she said, oh, our teacher said that we could be going back to school in April. And I was like, over my dead body, you're going back to school.
Why
I was like,
April?
That doesn't make sense.
School's out in what?
May or June. And so she said, yeah, they might be sending us back to school. I've noticed that San Francisco is really and there's a lot of schools that have opened up, which I get. And I know San Francisco School District is working on a plan to open back up, I think, because the numbers have come down from the from the holidays. We had the big burst during the holidays, but my daughter is saying that and they have been talking about opening the schools back up in April, and I'm not comfortable with that. I'm not comfortable. I think we need a cure. I mean, I know the vaccine is out and people are taking the vaccine, but what's the point of going back to school in April when May school is done? Like, you want me to go? She is the only one in our household that did not get COVID-19.
Right.
She did not get COVID-19. And so if she goes back to school and comes back home with COVID-19, somebody gonna get their ass whooped, because we've done all this to prepare, you know what I mean?
Right.
Protect her from COVID. Nobody's gonna protect my child like I will protect my child.
It just doesn't seem like what's the risk versus the gain?
Right.
And rather than holding them out another 60 days after all of this and then wait until the fall, until things are going to supposedly, and that's the way we're trending, are going to be much better.
Right.
So it makes, I don't get the gain. Like, you're not going to catch up all of the things that could have been missed in the school year up to this point. We've done it all last year, and now we're going into March, April, and then you're going to just open up for a month and a half, 2 months?
It makes no sense.
Doesn't make sense.
Makes no sense. But I understand that the school districts are losing money with the kids not being physically in school, right? And then all the unions, like San Francisco, I think their battle is with the teachers union, where the union is not wanting the teachers to go back until everything is 100%. You can guarantee that nothing's going to happen, which is my thing too. If you can guarantee 100% that my child is not going to get COVID from going to school, then get that in writing, sign it, send it to me. Okay, here she comes, but yeah, I would love to get the point of view of teachers and what they think about, are you getting forced to go back? Because some are getting forced to go back to school before they're ready.
Well, if the school's open, that's the thing. That's what's happening in San Francisco. If the schools are open, then they're supposed to, they're being forced to go to class and teach. So I think that's the problem. And I don't know the details of it, but it seems like that's the problem in San Francisco between the union and the city, is the union doesn't feel like they should be forced to go back to work until they know it's safe.
Yeah.
But there's probably people that we could have on that know a lot more about that.
Yeah. Well, I'll work on that. On Facebook, just shouting out Lisa Raty, my niece. Good morning. Marty Jams is still on. And Moses, of course. Our Maury and Velasipio. Good morning. Thank you for tuning in. Share if you feel it in your heart. We have a stop smoking class that's going to be starting, geared towards Pacific Islanders. This is our second class. It's if you are interested in quitting tobacco, contact us at the Faika Podcast at polybydesign.com. It's a 5-week class. Relax. It's one class a week for an hour and a half to 2 hours, and it's Pacific Islanders talking or gathering for Pacific Islanders, and we are trying to help Pacific Islanders quit smoking. And so that's our focus, is we're focusing on Pacific Islanders. So if you're interested in joining our class, and this is our second class, and then we have one more, and then we're on a break for a minute. But our last class was successful. We had some people on there that have cut back on their smoking. And then we've had our Yvette, who's a success story, who quit smoking and hasn't smoked for a few months now. And
Decades long.
And she's been a smoker forever and a day. And I hope she doesn't mind that we're talking about her. But I'm proud of her. I'm proud of it's hard work, and it's a daily struggle. So we just want to help as many PIs as we can. There's resources we can give you. There's numbers and people you can talk to if you need support. We have what is it? Stuff that can help you daily with how to quit. And so
it's a different plan for everybody. So not the same plan that worked for maybe Yvette is maybe not work for somebody else.
Right,
so
right.
Our goal is to create a plan that works for you, tailor-made to you. So if we have 6 people in a class, there may be 6 different plans.
Right.
So we come up with different options, different support factors, different solutions and tools, and find a plan that works for you. So that's the goal, and the big thing is it's Pacific Islanders facilitating it, and Pacific Islanders in the class.
Yes. So if you are interested, please get a hold of us, the Faika Podcast at polybydesign.com, and we just need your email, and we'll send. It's Zoom. So, COVID, we aren't, we're not in the same room. It's really easy. You could just roll over and hit the Zoom link, and there you go.
Yvette was in a car 1 week. She was driving, and she was in the car, and she still attended class. So if you want to, you can make it happen.
Yes. So it's really easy. Send us an email, and we will send you the Zoom link to join our class. It's geared towards Pacific Islanders, and we're really asking for Pacific Islanders in San Francisco, but if you're anywhere, we will help you. We just want to help you. So get a hold of us. It's a great class. And there could be stuff. There could be stuff.
We had raffles.
We have raffles. Yeah. So we may send you lunch. You never know. It just depends on how I feel. If you don't work my nerves. So yeah, get a hold of us. It's a great class. It's our Stop Smoking class that's starting soon. How about that?
Did you see the Merry Monarch is going to come back this year?
Yes.
So they canceled last year, and it was 57 years running, and they canceled it last year.
That's crazy.
So they're going to have it this year. It's going to be scaled back. Obviously, they want to be safe, but they don't want to not go another year without having it and celebrating their culture.
Right.
Having the dances, halaus have taken a huge hit.
Yes.
A huge hit, because you can't do that unless you're gathered to some degree. So the halaus have really suffered in the pandemic. Let's see.
They've cut back. There will be no audience.
Right.
No audience. So, but they will be streaming. Before they used to allow 35 people per halau, and now it's cut down to 15. And then just all kinds of rules just to make it a safe event. But I'm happy to see that it's back this year and that they're doing a great job of trying to keep everyone safe and, COVID. And I think if you are traveling to Hawaii with your group, you have to stay quarantined the whole time, and you have to stay with your group the whole time. Like, you can't go off and go hang out with if you have family that live there. No. Your group has to stay together 24/7 while you're in Hawaii. So kudos to the Merry Monarch team there that's really following the guidelines to protect our people and protect Hawaii. That's awesome. I love that.
They're going to be selling shirts. So if you want to support, I don't know what their website is. They're probably on social media. You can find them, but they are selling shirts to help support the event.
Yes, go buy a T-shirt. I'll have to go look and get us T-shirts, but please go buy a T-shirt. Shout out to people that are watching on Facebook. Gary Edward McCauley, thank you for tuning in.
Gary's my friend from Fort Bragg.
Fort Bragg in the house.
I think he lives in Arizona now.
Wow.
Good morning, Gary.
Kristen Tao Afiafi Shermer, thank you for tuning in. Tiana Aina, and all of you that are tuned in, thank you so much this morning for spending the morning with us. We just have been talking about Merry Monarch is returning this year, and it's a great event that I wanted to get to, but maybe not this year. Maybe next year.
Did you see that in Maui they arrested 2 people from Fresno for trying to check into a hotel without a negative COVID-19
in Hawaii or Maui?
In Maui.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Why?
I mean, how? Well, because they were arrested because you're required to have a negative test.
But how did you get on the plane?
But I guess they didn't have the paperwork. It says were arrested after they tried to check in without presenting a negative COVID-19 test or exemption, according to the officials. Visitors refused to check in and left the property after being told they needed to be in quarantine. So maybe there's still a quarantine when you land. I don't know.
Yeah, because I know that some people that have headed to Hawaii during this time, you have to get tested 3 days or something like that and have a negative result. And you have to upload it onto, depending on what airline you're flying on, but you have to upload it onto their website, and then you have to present something as you board. So that's weird to me. What airline missed it?
Right.
You know what I mean? And will they get a fine for letting people on without a card?
Let's see. It's required if you want to bypass the state's mandated quarantine.
Right.
So they should have quarantined. You can get there, but you need to quarantine.
If you didn't test.
Christian Shermer says it's required if you want to bypass the state's mandated quarantine. So it's a mandated quarantine.
Right.
If you want to bypass that, I guess you can. But you need the proof that you're negative.
That you're negative, yeah. And then, if you're going to Hawaii for a vacation, most people have a week. Like,
why would you go?
Why would you go if you have to quarantine? So yeah, those stupid asses. We're trying to protect that island. You know what I mean? Like,
that's
we're trying to protect the island.
The arrogance of no, but I want to have a good time.
Right.
Like I want to be on vacation.
Right.
So I'm going to forego the safety measures because I want to have a good time, basically. That's what that's for. I mean, I don't know. Maybe he's in Maui to visit family.
Right.
Why are you checking into a hotel?
Right.
Like if you're there for family, I think that is just what it appears to be. Just somebody who's selfish.
Going on vacation.
And goes to an island that would have a hard time handling
COVID-19.
a true outbreak and just acting the way they want to act.
Yeah, and Maury, who actually works for the airline, says it also has to be an approved testing site for Hawaii travel. And then Kristen says, so technically, you can travel with no tests, but subject to quarantine. A lot of people want to be sneaky. I have seen a lady that went to Hawaii and they tracked her down and basically if you don't quarantine they sent her back.
Right.
And
they arrested these people. They're in jail.
Oh, okay. Well, good. I think it's selfish because Hawaii is just a small island and there's a lot of elders there, our elders.
Well, there's a lot of Polynesians.
A lot of Polynesians.
Right.
And we have the highest rate of COVID-19 positive, whatever. And so it's selfish for people to go there without being tested and just.
But see, to me, it's beyond that in the sense that if there were no regulations in place, it'd still be selfish to do it.
Right.
Right. Like it'd still be selfish. But these people are being told these are the rules and these are the guidelines you have to go by.
Right.
And they're still bypassing the guidelines.
Right.
So then they're telling them that they're being unsafe and they're still going. So I don't know. It just seems really selfish to me to end up on an island
where
you're not supposed to be because you don't have the right, the right safety checks in place. And just because you want to go kick it on the beach.
Yeah, that's selfish. And plus, for someone who, almost freaking died from COVID, I'm the biggest advocate for stay your ass at home. Like if you absolutely need to travel, then make sure you're test negative wherever you're going. And my immune system is compromised, so I really can't go anywhere because I don't want to risk the chance of getting sick again. I couldn't breathe. I could not breathe. And that alone, I'm like, just stay your ass at home. And, stay your ass at home. And wear a mask. So speaking of COVID-19, every Monday we have Koviki Talk at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
We're going to talk to a team that's doing it right.
Yes.
So out of all these situations and cities and problems that you hear about, there are areas that are doing it right. They're getting people vaccinated. They're getting people into the programs.
Right.
And and being safe and doing it. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to talk to the team from San Diego tomorrow.
Yes.
And see how are they able to do things that they're doing, because there's other cities and areas that need to duplicate that.
Yeah, I'm super excited about tomorrow. And then, so we have Koviki Talk every Monday at 5. It's episode 17, and it's called San Diego is Winning. And every Friday we get the bio of the people that are going to be our guests, because, you know, we read it and we introduce them with,
we're just the hosts.
We're just the hosts.
They send us the show and we
actually,
show up.
It's Tavai. Tavai does a great job of sending us the bios every week. And so I got the bio Friday, and I was like, oh, okay, bios. I like to go through it once just so I don't mispronounce something. Because if I get to a word that I don't know, I always ask you, how do you pronounce this? What does it mean? Da-da-da-da. Because I'm dingy like that. And then I seen Kenny Lasitani, who we've had on the show before. And then Tana Lepule, who we're in the COVID-19 response team group with him.
That happens a lot. So we see a lot of names where we're like, I recognize the name. They're probably in a town hall with us, or maybe they're a part of a committee, but we don't really know the person. But then this happens. What happens with the next guest?
And then the next guest that Tavai sends over, it says Tani Elisara, who is my niece. She's my brother Junior's daughter, and his wife Ginger. And so when I seen Tani's name, I was like, oh my God. I woke up that morning, and when I seen it, I was texting her. I was like, I didn't know. She's like, I know. And so I'm super excited to see her on Zoom. Even though we text, it's not the same. You know what I mean? So I get to see her face on Monday. So I'm excited to talk to her, Kenny, and Tana about all the amazing work that they're doing to get San Diego to where we need to. And they're working with, trying to get Pacific Islanders vaccinated. And so working with the elders and everything.
They're getting it done.
They are doing a great job. So I'm excited to talk to that team tomorrow at 5 p.m. So come back here or go to the Pacific Islander COVID-19 response teams page, and you can see us there, or Poughkeepsie, whatever you prefer. So I'm excited to be back tomorrow. It'll be my first time since
your first one back since last year.
My first one for Koviki since last year. I'm excited to see everybody, the team. We have a pre-show, and so we check in with each other. And so I do have my earrings from Dr. Aita Oto, who is from the Marshall Islands. She works with a cancer survivor group. She's been working with them for 10 years. And to raise money for the cancer survivor group, they make jewelry from the Marshall Islands. So I'm super, super blessed to have these earrings made from cancer survivors like myself, and that it's from the Marshall Islands. So thank you so much, Dr. Nia.
That's going to be a good time tomorrow.
It's going to be a good time tomorrow. So if you're available, 5 o'clock, you ain't doing nothing. Tune in. You're off of work. You turned your laptop off at 4:45. Come on down. I went to Cafe Wellness, which is put on by SCDC on Friday.
I know. I'm in class. I'm in Mato Samoa.
You have class.
Each of those I miss out.
Cafe Wellness. I went the week before, and they ask you to invite someone. And I was like, oh, Carl got class. And so I invited Leah Poasa, who is part of our PBD team. And she came on, and just a bunch of great people were on. We had great conversation. It's facilitated by Tone Vai and Trish. And so it was a really good discussion on masculinity and what it means to you and what it means to our culture. Man, it was a really good conversation. So if you are interested in Cafe Wellness, hit me up and I'll share the Zoom link, and we can go together and meet at 6 o'clock on Friday. And they really do have great discussions, and people share a lot. You can listen, or you don't even have to talk. You could just be in the room to listen and find out what you want and leave whenever you want. It's really it's a Zoom group where we talk about different topics. I don't know what next week is, but it was a really good conversation on masculinity. And so I encourage, if you aren't doing anything and you're feeling a little lonely, get a hold of me and you can get with this group and talk. How about that?
Yeah, it's good to see that program grow.
Yes.
Because it was kind of, we were wondering, how's that going to work with the pandemic?
Right.
But like almost everything,
yeah,
we
they
figured
did a
out
great
ways
job.
to make it happen because powerful people, entrepreneurial people want to make it happen. They find ways to
make it happen. Yeah. Also, and right after that, I got on Utopia San Francisco's Tea Time. Neo he had an Afakasi show with Tutu, who is Tutu is our mother, our spiritual mother. She was on, and she is, Samoan, Tahitian, and just all kinds of mixed. And then Mo, she was on with, she's Afakasi Samoan and
Afakasi the artist, right?
Yes, Afakasi the artist, Ngata Uli. And Mickey, who's half Samoan and half Tongan, and Jeremiah, who is Korean and half so on. So they had a great discussion of growing up Afakasi, and so that was on Utopia San Francisco, and the host is Neil Vea. And so, every Friday at 7 p.m., go to Utopia San Francisco and check out their tea time.
Look at you.
Look at me. We were everywhere on Friday. I mean, only because now that I'm back and I'm breathing, what did I miss? What did I miss? So I'm trying to check out all the different shows. There's great, amazing stuff. Essence of Mana, Talanoa Tuesday. That happens every Tuesday at 7 p.m., where we're on at 5 p.m. after you're done with us. Go check out Essence of Mana. Their Talanoa Tuesday, they had Verna Castro on, who is with the school district in the East Bay. And so she is of Chamorro descent, and they had a great conversation. Zoom wasn't working that day, so they pre-recorded it and then uploaded it the next day. So go check out that interview. It's a really good talk with Verna. You'll learn everything you need to know about Verna, and they have a great discussion on education. Essence of Mana also has their parenting class, which already started February 4th, and they're reaching out to the PI community, and it doesn't matter where you live, you just had to be willing to commit to their 12-week class, and I think they're halfway through now. I'm not really sure.
They started on the beginning of the month, on February 4th.
Yes, and it's once a week, and so you can get a hold of Lulu Masina at Masina, Masina, at healthright360.org, or you can call her. We have their information on our social media, and so they have a great program there. Check them out.
Free.
Don't our people, we love free, don't we? We love free. So there you go. That's all I got.
And you don't got to worry about parking because it's virtual.
Virtual.
Parking's free too.
Everything is virtual. So check it out. I think on Wednesday we're on Island City. Check them out. You have to download Dash Radio, search Island City, and we're on Wednesday at 10 a.m. But they have so many more PI shows that are on Island City. So check them out. Q and DJ Green do a great job of running Island City, and they're just growing and growing and growing. So big shout out to them.
I think that's a wrap.
Is that a wrap? I just wanted to do real quick, just big condolences and prayer to our Olo family who we lost cousin Joe this week, who had the biggest heart and would do anything for you. And he just loved my mama. He loved my mama like his own mama. He was better than me. He would drive down there and go visit her. He'd call and check on her. And so last time we seen him was in March or May for Cousin Marshall's services. And so big shout out and love and prayers to our Olo family who is mourning our cousin Joe this week. So I think that's all I got. Any last words, Kalolo?
I don't think so. Let's see. No, we covered Merry Monarch. I'm just happy to see.
Yes.
When I saw that in the agenda, I was thinking, good for them, however they're going to do it. Good for them for not canceling it the next year. 57 years long. I mean,
wow, that's crazy.
That's a long time.
It's a long, long time. So, yeah, thank you for everyone that tuned in. If we can ask you to share the podcast, we just because. Also, stop smoking classes. Get a hold of us. Thank you for tuning in this morning. We love and appreciate you. Have a great week, and we will see you tomorrow. Come back to FICO with us.
Love you.
My soul is bleeding. I believe you. I know I'm broken. Can't go so lonely. Please go forgive me. Father, I need you. Lord, don't leave me. I need you with me. My soul is bleeding. I believe you. I know I'm broken. Can't go so lonely. Please go forgive me. Woke up this morning with a heavy heart. Lately, I've been feeling as if I'm torn apart. A lot on my mind, I swear. Seem like life ain't fair. How can I stay true to you? I ain't true to me, I ain't true to us. I gotta let it be, but I'm wrong. Yes, I'm wrong. Lord, it's been a while. Pain stuck in my heart. Lord, what happened to my smile? All the sins that I've done, Lord, I'm sorry that I did them. Committed a ton, Lord, how can you forgive them? Father, hear my plea. You're all I ever need. Changes in my life, but I know you'll never leave. Time and time again, always been my friend, praise him to no end. Better let me change, help me understand God over everything. Lord, I love you, please come down to me. I'm begging and praying, shedding tears, I'm on my knees. I know that I ain't worthy, yet you still love me. Father, touch my heart and let your son be free, yeah. Father, I need you, Lord, don't leave me. I need you with me, my soul is bleeding. I believe you, I know I'm broken. Can't go so lonely, please go forgive me. Father, I need you, Lord, don't leave me. I need you with me, my soul is bleeding. I believe you, I know I'm broken. Can't go so lonely, please go forgive me. Yeah, I pray you hold it down. Stuck up in my thoughts, Lord, please don't let me drown. Cause I know I've done some wrong. I pray you keep me strong. Through all my battles, ups and downs, you've always come along. Lord, I love you, ain't nobody else above you. Forever thankful to you, Father, you've always come through. I know my God is real, won't touch my heart is healed. Without you in my life, Lord, I'll never be fulfilled. Take me down this journey, walk beside us.